What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. Happy Thursday, and today we're going to do one last take when it comes to this 2024 F-150 and its fuel economy MPGs. We're going to talk about basically having this truck for 2 months, putting about 4 tanks through the truck, which is, pretty amazing in itself, considering this truck has almost 3,400 miles on it now. Very fuel efficient when it comes to full-size pickup trucks. This is a 4-wheel drive Super Crew, so full-size rear seat, full-size rear doors, 5.5-foot bed, and of course it has the power boost. 3.5 Eco made it to a hybrid setup, so you have an electric motor, you have a battery, and this is a regen hybrid. Once again, this is not a plug-in. I wanted to stay away from anything that's plug-in. I just want to drive it. I want to fill up the tank and not have to worry about, plugging the vehicle in, charging the battery, or I should say recharging the battery to gain the fuel efficiency or the fuel economy. So I made several videos about this truck as far as, fuel economy on the main roads, fuel economy, even on a short little road trip that I did, going to my friend's cabin in northern Michigan. It's about 2.5 hours away. Next week, I'm doing the same trip. I'm going back to his cabin for rifle season, and we're going to do a couple of things different. So let me explain. That video that I put out, part of it was fuel efficiency related. The other part was kind of my take on the Blue Cruise, autonomous driving on main highways across US and Canada. But I was able to get over 25 miles per gallon. Now, of course, this truck is made for, we'll say, A to B daily commuter, right? One of the beauties about this truck is when you get off the expressway, and I've noted this in my previous videos, that's where this truck shines, meaning that that's where the electric portion of this truck takes over. And that's where you see most of your gains across your entire range, right? From basically filling up a full tank to almost deep. In other words, larger trucks and SUVs, they get the best fuel economy, fuel efficiency when you're on the expressway, 65, let's say, to 75 miles an hour. You're locked in, you're driving, you're in the higher gear, the highest gear at that point, and, it's just basically you're cruising. Once you get off the highway and you start to go 30 to 50 mile per hour specifically in stop and go traffic, that's kind of where everything falls apart. At least that's my take on it, over the years, where I had, V8 trucks, SUVs, V6s, and even the 4-cylinder that I'll touch on a little bit here in this video as well. So my average now over 2 months, as far as, I drive, once again, 60 miles a day, give or take, 30 on the expressway or highway, 30 off the highway, so main roads, that 30 to 50 range. And my average is like 24 miles to a gallon, right? Now, if you look at trucks that are non-hybrid, what you're going to have, and that's what I used to have, is very simple. You get your best fuel efficiency if you drive a lot on the highway, but once you're off the highway, that efficiency falls flat on its face, it plummets, and then your averages are obviously a lot lower. For example, the truck before this one, I had a 2021 Chevy Silverado with a 2.7 Turbo Max. Now, I got that truck because, yes, I knew I had the 5.3 option, I had the 6.2 liter V8 option, which I don't really need, or didn't really need at that point in time. But the 2.7 had a little bit less horsepower, a little bit less torque, obviously, compared to the 5.3 V8 that Chevy offered in a half-ton pickup truck. But the whole, reason behind the 2.7 Turbo Max was to, increase the fuel efficiency, make the truck more fuel efficient. And honestly, over 3.5 years of driving that pickup truck, I never saw the true gains. My average was always around 17 miles to a gallon, 18 miles to a gallon if I was lucky, depending on conditions. It all comes down to conditions and elements, and of course how you drive, right? So 17 to 18. On the highway, I would get like 21 and a half perfect conditions. That's the highest I've ever seen that truck get. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's horrible for a full-size, pickup truck, but of course you're losing out on towing capacity, you're losing out on horsepower and torque, having that smaller four-cylinder with a 2.7. But the funny thing about it is, a year later, a friend of mine ended up purchasing a 2022 Chevy Silverado LT crew cab, four-wheel drive, but his had a 5.3 V8. And, he kind of made fun of me for, picking the smallest engine in the lineup. But when we started comparing our fuel efficiency, our average fuel efficiency was identical. So yes, you get a little bit on the highway, and that's if you only drive on the highway. But overall, it was a wash. And of course, if you tow with a truck like that Silverado, you're going to spend more money on fuel because now your truck is working a lot harder. It's keeping up the RPMs to build boost, to build power, to tow whatever you're towing. Versus a V8, well, V8 has the torque, and you will get better fuel efficiency essentially when you're towing, comparing the two. So this truck obviously is a lot different. This one has the big boy 3.5 Eco, 430 horse, 570 foot-pounds of torque. These numbers are very, very good. If you look at your light duties, even heavy duties like 6.2 V8, this truck has more horsepower and way more torque compared to a big V8 engine. But of course, you have that fuel efficiency, right? You have that overall fuel efficiency that you can't compare to any of the trucks unless it's like full electric, right? So very pleased with my purchase so far. I'm very pleased with the economy, right? So 24 is my average combined. On the highway, it did over 25 miles per hour, or 25 miles per gallon. And what I'm going to do is next time I go back, which will be next Friday, when I head up north again, I will try to lock it into 70, because I was actually going about 70, 75, depending on traffic, and I'm not light-footed when it comes to, driving any of my vehicles, specifically on the expressway. I flow with traffic. So if traffic is flowing 80, I'm going to go 80, right? And so we'll do another take. I don't know if I'm going to make another video or not, but I know that locking it in at 70 miles per hour on cruise control, I guarantee you I will climb close to, if not touching, 26 mpgs. So what is the takeaway here? Takeaway is very simple. You get 24 mixed driving, which is, I'm assuming, from at least what I've driven in the past, is probably best in its class. And then you get 25 to 26 on a highway. So technically you're only losing 2 miles to a gallon, give or take, between, driving it, mixed driving it on the main surface roads, and then the highway, something that I've never seen before. And then the last one is, what is the difference between normal mode and eco mode or economy mode? So I've been doing a little testing, been doing some math, and these trucks, as far as the algorithm and the trip sets, like so your total trip, your daily trip, even this has a start-stop trip where it shows you exactly how many miles you traveled, right? Full miles, gas miles, electric miles, every time you go out and you start your truck and you stop your truck. So very, very simple to calculate. I mean, it's within like a couple of tenths of a, we'll say MPG, right? So when you're calculating, it's like dead nuts. And the difference is about 0.8 to 1 MPG between fuel economy mode or eco mode and normal mode. Of course, a lot of different things again come in the picture: how fast you drive, how slow you drive, conditions, elements, stuff like that. But you do gain about 1 MPG driving your vehicle in economy mode, this truck anyway, versus normal mode. I've been driving it in eco mode. It's just every time I start the truck, it remembers. It's also something that's somewhat new to Fords. Before, you had to select your drive mode, right? But in this truck, you still have to confirm, essentially, if you want to go back to economy mode, but at least you're not twisting the knob. You're just hitting OK on the steering wheel. And it does really well. Eco mode is perfect for like everyday driving. Obviously, you're not going to be in eco mode if you're towing or if you're driving through, you know, let's say hills or whatever. But it doesn't really take much away from the driving experience, I'll say, or just the driving dynamics. It's more of a mellow approach. So, you know, your shift points are adjusted, your throttle response is more muted, more fluid. But overall, it does a very nice job. And yes, even in eco mode, if you're merging onto a highway or if you need to pass somebody, your power is there. So no worry. So yeah, I really like this F-150 Power Boost. If somebody is looking for a truck, I would definitely consider looking at either new or slightly used F-150s with a Power Boost. I never knew Power Boost existed, like I said in my previous videos. I thought Power Boost was just like some kind of a hopped up version of the 3.5 EcoBoost, but this one is very, very nice, and of course I'll do a separate video, guys, and actually show you this truck from the outside and inside and all the options that it has. So yeah, thumbs up to Ford, man. I did a lot of research. It took me like an entire summer to figure out what truck I really wanted. You know, I went through Stellantis, I went through GM, and ended up with this Ford. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think I made the right choice. It fits me, it fits the bill. You know, I do, like I said, a lot of driving on and off the highway, a lot of basically commuting around, right? Going to and from work, picking up kids and whatnot. And this truck maintains amazing fuel efficiency. And just to kind of close it out, I'll say this. This is the first pickup truck where, as much as I drive, I will, if I fill it, which I do, full tank, I can drive for 2 weeks on one tank. And of